Hello everyone, welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming. Without us, they couldn't feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So again, we're based out of Westchester, Pennsylvania, and my name is Mark. I'm SirMC 2015 up on the Ninth Age forums. And I just want to give everyone a heads up is we're going to start using both, again, this is my website that I use for my hour reports, but also the Ninth Age has its own YouTube channel that I want to start utilizing for letting people know what's coming down the pike, maybe try and get some group chats going on with a bunch of YouTubers and gamers around not just the United States, but around the world. Try to get some miniature companies on to let them know what they have available, what models they have available for which armies, what recommendations they would have to try to use them, or one thing I know as a hobbyist is to modify, but again, but I'm not sure a manufacturer would want to tell us how to turn around and utilize their models. But just kind of get them on board and pick their mind so that we can turn around and use their models. I mean, because we have companies like Shield Wolf, TMS, Avatars of War, oh my God, Forge. Was it Fireforge? They have beautiful whole knights that I actually have being painted by Phil for me. And there's so many different companies out there supporting the Ninth Age. I want to make sure that we go ahead and let everyone know. With that said, one of my own personal critiques has been I need to talk less up front. So at the end of this, again, I'm going to try going over some upcoming tournaments. And that's it. So on to the main event. So this is a 4,500 point game. I am playing against a Dwarven Holds opponent. I don't think I've ever posted a battle report against this particular opponent. His name is Cassie Raziel 124. So with what I now do is I now travel. So this gentleman is part of the Titans gaming group. And it was actually his game that I was playing is when I saw the other Hobbit game going on. So we go to Timonium to Titan Hobby and Games, and he plays with Titans of Ninth. Unfortunately, the store's closed. We're like, well, they open at noon, and we weren't going to be there till 1, but they were closed. So instead, we go to, where was it? It was Glen... I've got Scotch on my mind, Glenfiddich, or Glenmorangie. It was called Games and Stuff, and it's just south of Baltimore. And this was an awesome, awesome store. I wish I had a picture of the store. And again, the name of the store is Games and Stuff. And it's this huge store, easily about 1,000, if not 1,500 square feet of front store space, and it opens up into about another 1,000 to 2,000 square feet for just gaming. This is a huge store. I'm like going, wow. So we may go down there next time as well, because I have clients out in that area, and it was a blast. So we go in there. Here, I do not have a picture or write-up of our army list. Couple different reasons. I'm still tweaking mine. Secondly, I don't have my opponent's army list. As you can tell, there's 2 boards. We pushed them together. Most of their boards were 8-foot boards. All those boards were being used, whether it be 40K, Age of Sigmar. The table next to us, was, as I said on my last report, was playing 8th edition. So we pushed these 2 together. The 40K terrain kind of marks that board edge, but he's playing dwarves. So we literally only needed about a 4-foot board anyway. So we're going with what I can tell you about our armies, going from left to right. My army, you've got a unit of Mountain Yum with 4+ armor, 9 Grail Knights, my damsel on the back riding her unicorn. I've got 16 crossbows, another unit of Fast Cav. That unit there has a 5+ armor save, 9 Knight Aspirants with a unit champ, and 12 Banners of the Last Charge, my BSB, and my Duke is now on a Hippogriff, hence his name is Duke Rockwolf, hence he's riding a great big rock. Yes, that is a rock. Going from his left to right, it's a unit of handgunners, steam chopper, unit of spears with a BSB Thane, a Dwarven. There was no king. So it was a Thane, it was a runic smith, he had an engineer behind his war machines, behind the big brick of Hull Guardians. But going back to the other unit, that's actually a unit of spears. He has a cannon. In the back there, he has a anvil. He's got a runic crafted organ gun, 21 seekers. He's got a vengeance seeker, and another unit of handgunners. So I dropped for first. He had, believe it or not, more drops than I did. And I won. I still prayed, and I won the dice roll. The reason why I prayed this time is the Seekers can be strength 5, and they're You're Coming With Me rolls. He chose the +1 strength, +1 AP on his Hull Guardians. He's got the characters. If he charges me, the Steam Choppers are strength 5. His Organ Gun is strength 5. He's got a cannon. It just made sense to do it this game. But as I said, I had first turn, so this is after Vanguards and after movement. Pardon me. So my Knight Aspirants are now on the ruinous piece of terrain. I think I had 5 of them or 6 of them up on the dangerous terrain, and I lost 1 due to dangerous terrain. There it is. But I'm trying to push that flank. The reason why he has it drawn out in the battle line, I actually did not like. If I was him, I did not like the placement of the cannon as his opponent. I loved the placement of the cannon because that allowed me to now move up my hippogriff with 1 less concern, because I really didn't think that his organ gun would one-shot off my Duke, because my Duke he's AP3, so yes, it's a 6-up armor if he wounds me, and he's wounding me on 3s, but it's also a 5-up ward save, so I was okay that I would survive. So there's the kill. I got up Oaken Throne, and that was basically it. And I did pop out the Green Knight. So next comes his turn. He moves up as such. So I positioned my Grails on the left so that he couldn't use... That unit had the triple march banner, the Relentless Company banner. So he couldn't march block me in a particular manner. And he still had the handgunners. He lined up his Unbreakable unit as such, so to help protect his war machines and everything else behind, and there should be a Vengeance Seeker up there on the top of the hill at this point. And he moved his other chopper off to the side there. Why he did that, behind the hill, I don't know, but that's what he chose to do. His organ gun opens up, so before, after, before, after. He just mulched through, how many knights do I have left there? That's 4, 7. He killed 5 knights right off the bat there. And let's see here. So I unfortunately had to pause the recording, so I don't know where I was, but that organ gun there was just brutal, removing those 5 models. Over on the other side, I lost another one to shooting. I have no idea what shot me, whether it would be handgunners, the cannon, or the chopper whiffed. But something, in which case I rolled a 1, in which case I had a... yeah, because I remember I had an armor save. In which case that unit has a 4-up because it's banner rolling. It's a 4-up save. But he could not shoot my Green Knight, and that's all that I cared about. I didn't want to get that thing one shot off. And he did, during his movement, as you can see, he did move his cannon because he realized that his cannon was in a bad position. So during my turn, so I'm just going to go back a few picks. So this is the end of his turn. He thought that his Hull Guardians would be able to hold me up, whether I charge in with just the Grail Knights or if I charge in with just the other unit Knights on the other side, the Aspirants. However, I charged him with both because he really didn't have a good counter charge, with the exception of the Dwarf Warriors. And I had a counter to that. And the counter to that was the Green Knight, which is why I had to make sure I hid the Green Knight behind my Grail Knight so that it couldn't get shot off. And also, just in case, I had the Mounted Yeoman. So going back to where I was, so there's the double charge. I did lose 2 Knight Aspirants from DTs. And here's how the board looks at the end of my turn. So as you can see, I'm chaffing him up. We're right before combat. I've got 2 units in. I backed up my unit of Knights of the Realm a little bit because I didn't want to get charged by that very elongated brick there. And I moved my Duke up. The reason why I moved the Duke up is at this point in time, I thought I was going to be able to overrun, and I'll show this next pick here. I thought I was going to be able to overrun and get into the organ gun there, and I also his cannon was placed right behind that unit as well. So I wasn't as concerned about his units. I made mincemeat. So I grew 1 Ground Knight back. I had Healing Waters up when he chose to devour that item. During close combat, he kills 1 Grail Knight and 2 Aspirants. And that's it. That's all I can say at this point in time. Because I figure he's going to throw as much into the Grail Knights as humanly possible. And the overrun, apparently he said, nope, you can't do it. I get into the cannon. His turn, he charges into my flank with the chopper that was back behind that hill. And he charges the Green Knight at this point in time. And that's how the board looks. And he goes ahead, shoots me with his handgunners and the organ gun 1 more time, puts a total of 3 wounds onto my Hippogriff. During that combat, he kills only 1 knight. I charge, flank, wound. I do nothing back, but I'm steadfast because I have a rank. And he does manage to put 2 wounds onto the Green Knight, which was very surprising to me, but he issued a challenge with his BSB. And I was going to issue a challenge anyway because I'm within 12 of my character, of my damsel. But he issued a challenge first. After the game, we said that was a mistake because you should have turned around and not issued a challenge and get more attacks in on me. Right? But he had Rune of Lightning, or wait for me to choose not to challenge. He had Rune of Lightnings, 3 of them on that character, and he was Strength 5 on the charge. So I was pretty happy with only getting away with only 2 wounds because that is a lot of automatic hits. He was rolling 7 to 8 hits with the 3-3. So I managed to survive. So then we go back onto my turn, and I countercharge. So he tries chaffing me up over here, and I charge in with my Knights of the Realm, that really injured bus, and my Duke. The reason I threw the Duke in on the side is I figured if he does go ahead, he kills me, I will still be able to survive because I have that Black Tabard on my Duke. So I won't remove my Duke as a casualty, and then there's a possibility of being able to take out the organ gun and go from there. So I was happy with my chances. I also went ahead and charged his chopper on the flank there. With Mounted Yeoman, and that's the Mounted Yeoman with the 4-up armor save. The way I differentiate them is that one's got a little banner on one of the units, and the other one's got a guy holding a spear and a bow. So they charge in the flank. During magic phase, again, that's Oaken Throne, and I destroyed the cannon during his turn. I also charged into the anvil. Of all my units, that's the one unit you didn't want to charge the anvil, because the anvil has a 5-up Aegis save, and they have divine attacks. I also managed, fortunately you don't see the card there, also managed to put up Stone Skin up on my Mounted Yeoman at some point. Oh, there it is, Stone Skin. And that was that. So again, I killed the anvil, I turn around over here. I completely obliterate that unit of Seekers. He fails to wound me. I did go ahead and I believe I managed, because he was within 12 inches of the forest, put the -1 offensive skill on that unit, or it was -2 because I had open thrown up. -2 offensive skill on that unit, and that meant that they are now offensive skill 3. So when he was swinging at my Duke, he needed 5s to hit me rather than 4s to hit me. So even with the "you're coming with me" roll, he needs 5s and 4s compared to 4s and 4s. I was happy about that. And the other one weakness of his army is he doesn't have hatred. The chopper fight, I go ahead, I obliterate the chopper, and he does nothing to me. Overrun into the organ gun. As such, I managed, because of the spells I was getting off, I put a heal 1 more wound, and he fails to wound me. I fail to do anything to him, but he fails to wound me. I'm still stubborn because I'm within 12 inches. And at this point in time, seeing the board for what it was, he's like, let's just call it. I have dinner plans. I'm like, all right, I understand. So it ends up being a victory for the kingdom, 20-0. And I'm just, I'll do the MVPs real quick, and then I'm going to go all the way back to deployment. And I think that was really what hurt me. And when I played Dwarven Holds, that I felt was one of the most important things. You actually had to know what your targets were and be set up somewhat symmetrical to it and be prepped for it. So for Dwarven Holds, his organ gun, killing the knights, putting 5 knights, killing 3, and really kind of kept me back a little bit. For me, the Green Knight, being able to stick his big brick with his characters for multiple rounds of combat, which was exactly what I needed to do. So even though he didn't kill anything, he still is my MVP because he took out his only other real threat to me that wasn't shooting base, because eventually my close combat will reach the shooting base without any issue. I'm going back. So here we are with his deployment, or I'll keep going. So here's the bigger picture. So overall, I'm able to turn around and I'm getting the flank, and he can't push up the way he wanted to, and I guess had he pushed all the way up with the Seekers to try to do a one-on-one combat and then let the Grails go in by themselves into the Whole Guardians or anything else, but movement's an issue, his deployment was an issue. Me personally, I probably would put the cannon and the organ gun up on the hill and have it flanked by the 2 smaller units, and maybe even done the Vanguard agility on the Whole Guardians, so that they can go into combat. Yeah, he's AP2, Strength 5 AP2, but if he's able to now get the move, the charge, and the positioning on me, so that I now have to react to him, I think it would have been a better game for him. I probably would have just ignored them, chaffed them up, and ignored them, but I think it would have been a better overall tactic, so to speak. So let me go ahead and flip all the way back. I'm getting dizzy. So now on to North American Masters. So we had the event in January. Again, thank you for everyone's input. Definitely understand about terrain. I'm sorry, because we actually did have more terrain, and I apologize to everyone for not putting more out. I have no excuse. There were things, but I still have no excuse, and I apologize. But we have already started the tournament season again for Grail Quest. That winner was Brett Robb, part of the Green Dragon crew. Good job, Brett. We also just had Pete Reese win, I believe, Red River Rumble out in Oklahoma or Texas. And what do we have coming up? So we are in March. The end of this month, we have Corner Hammer. So Jeremy and Lenny puts on a great show. I so wish I could be there. My wife's out of town, and I would literally have to be getting like the red eye at like 6 a.m. to get out there, and then it's iffy if I even make the tournament on time. It's not worth it to me, unfortunately, because it literally just because of time. But I so wish I could be there. They put a great event on last year, and it looks like they're going to have another great event this year. Maybe getting run by Jeff next year. We don't know. Still kind of up in the air. But no matter what, an event this time of year will be going there moving forward. Let's see. So that's March. April, we have Battle Cry over here at Gamers Heaven in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. That's being run by Chris Mintz. May, there's Ottawa. There's an event up in Ottawa, Canada. That is a 2-day event. I hope to be able to go to that. There's also, I believe, the Wicked GT. So if I don't get to go to Ottawa, I'll try to go to Wicked. In May, I need to see when both dates are and things like that personally. Let's see. So there's Wicked in May, I believe. June's a busy month. So you have Brawlers Bash, which is run by Snark Hunter, Shannon, out in North Carolina, Atomic Empires. I love that venue. I love there's a bar there. I love that they're coming back on the tournament scene, and I so wish I could go. One of my really good friends, you would know him as Pretty Boy, is getting married, and he is the reason why I can't go. Otherwise, I would be there. The following weekend is Triumph GT up in Jersey. Again, that's being put on, I believe, by East Coast Warriors. And I wish I could go. Unfortunately, my wife is proctoring an ACT or SAT, so again, that's going to tie up my time. Then later, the end of the month, June 22nd, 23rd, is Buckeye. So Jeff moved the date from July to June. It's my daughter's recital, but this is, I think, the biggest event here in the United States. It's one that I've gone to the last couple of years, and it's just a blast. Just getting together with everyone. Kenyon from California, Skaven AZ and his crew from Arizona, Pete with Texas. We actually get the guys from Ohio Hammer comes out. Michigan GT people come out. And it's a huge event, and it's loads and loads of fun. So if you can go, I definitely would recommend it. July, there's a team tournament, and I don't know of any other tournament to kind of fill in that void other than team tournament in July, because most of us try to avoid Buckeyes. And if I can swing it, I'll try to put together a team and go to that. I don't know yet. I'm going to try. Then August, there's nothing in August, and usually that has to do with ETC, because we try to be as supportive and mindful to those ETC players. And September is going to be Dragon's Den, which I'm running up here in Gamers Heaven in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. I decided on which weekend I have to look to see when Memorial Weekend is, and go from there and see what my boss, being my wife, says. October is Mountain Mayhem, which I believe Gene has already posted, so I'll have Dragon's Den up as soon as I look at his date and everything else, because that's I take that into consideration as well. So we've got Mountain Mayhem October, Grail Quest is in December, and Hogfest, being run by Jeff, is in November, and that's going to have a change of venue, where I believe it used to be run in lower Midwest, say around Toledo area. I think it's going to be run around Chicago area this year. And Jeff is a huge participant with lots of different tournaments. I want to share my appreciation and go to his event as well, because he goes everywhere. And I think, if you don't know Jeff, I think extremely highly of him. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever get to play. Very low key, not what I would expect, but he's low key. He's not loud boisterous, and he's a fun guy to play. I played him at Colonial Carnage, and it was Dwarves versus the Kingdom. Again, it was a Kingdom victory, but it was a good game. And that's it. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please go ahead and and post. If you know of any tournaments coming up, please, again, go ahead and post, and then I'll make sure I keep posting them moving forward. And until next time, happy gaming!